Hi, I'm Jason Debley. Tonight's whiskey review is a blended malt from Scotland. Now, if you don't know what a blended malt is, it's a blend, think of a blend of single malts, but not from the same distillery, which would make it a single malt whiskey, but a blend of single malts from different distilleries. There are a number of blended malts that are a good quality product. I think of the Compass Box Company. They put out some good stuff. Spice Tree is one of their releases. Another one is Peat Monster. And probably the most widely distributed blended malt on the market right now is Johnnie Walker Green Label, which is a blend of single malts from Talisker, Craigenmore, Linkwood, and Kale Isla. And it's minimum age of 15 years. It's a very good whiskey. There are some blended malts that are not so good, like Monkey Shoulder, which if I had a gunshot wound, I would probably use to clean it. But other than that, I wouldn't ingest it. In general, blended malts are released by independent bottlers, and the one I'm going to review tonight is from a company located on the Isle of Skye. And here's the packaging, the tube, and it's from a company called Probin Limited. I'm probably mispronouncing that. And their brand, one of their brands, is Potch Goo, Gaelic for black pot, which is an illicit still. A little bit of marketing there. They also make a brand called Chevec, which is very good stuff too. So we're going to try Potch Goo 21-year-old blended malt. I don't know the ingredient single malts in this bottle. Couldn't find anything on the internet, couldn't find anything in my books, and my whiskey contacts in the industry don't know. They're located on the Isle of Skye, so generally I suspect there's a bit of Talisker in here. So this company is going to buy in bulk some single malt from various distilleries and then they take it and then they'll age it, in the case of this 21-year-old, in ex-sherry casks and ex-bourbon hogsheads for a minimum of 21 years and maybe longer, to produce what we're going to try tonight. So I have some already poured. I'll tell you a little bit about this whiskey. 43% alcohol by volume, which is good. Not chill filtered, which is good. However, artificial color. I went to some German websites because German law requires that whiskey bottlers state if they're using artificial color. Really good law. And I learned that E150 was used to darken this whiskey a bit. And you might be wondering, why would they darken it? The reason why drinks companies darken whiskey with E150A, which is like a distiller's caramel, is because at one time consumers were convinced that the darker the color, that meant the more time it's spent in the wood. Because when whiskey comes out of the still, it's clear like water or vodka. And then it ages in the casks and acquires the color of whatever previously inhabited the cask, say sherry or cognac or bourbon. And so consumers had that conviction, but the real other reason that distillery companies use artificial color is because it will cause consistency from batch to batch in color. So if your Johnnie Walker Black 1 month at the liquor store is kind of light compared to this month, you might think there's some sort of problem with quality control. Actually, it's probably not a quality control issue, but that color might put you off as a consumer, and then you don't want to by the whiskey. So to deal with that, they use artificial color. Okay, enough about that. Let's get down to this 21-year-old blended malt Potch Goo. On the nose, you know you're dealing with a sherried whiskey. There's definitely some sherry. It's not overwhelming. Soft fruits, raspberries, strawberries, peonies, roses. It's floral. It's a nice nose. Now let's try the palate. You've got rich sherry, dark honey, some cherries, orange marmalade, orange rinds. It's good mid-palate. On the finish, you're left with some bitter dark chocolate, orange pekoe tea, maybe some Assam tea from India. It's tannic, it's drying, that's good. Maybe a little bit drying or stringent like cranberry juice. And there's a definite Islay or Isle of Skye influence. Am I tasting a little bit of the Lagavulin or Talisker? The finish is salty, a little bit of brine and smoke. This is good whiskey. The price point for a 21-year-old blended malt, in this case, is not bad. In Canada, it was around $129. In Europe, I think 85 euros. In the US, it'd be less. Distribution is not widely available, but I did the review anyway because I want you to think about blended malts. Blended malts are usually produced by independent bottlers like this company, and they produce a good product. This is a good whiskey. I like it. What is the problem with it, or criticism? I would say it's lacking a little bit in complexity. So when the whiskey distilleries sell whiskey in bulk to a company like this one, they do it because it's whiskey they don't want. So then the challenge of the independent bottler is to adequately age it in the proper wood, do some magical blending to bring out the best in the whiskey that was sold to them that wasn't really of the grade to be bottled as Ardbeg 10 or Lagavulin 16 or whatever. And so that's a challenge for them. And actually, the ingredient single malts in this are probably much more obscure distilleries that you've never heard of. Nevertheless, I think they've done a good job here. It's balanced, it's not bitter, it's not offensive anyway, it's pleasant, and there's a nice transition from sherry to peat and smoke on the finish. Not a lot, but it's nice, and it's drying, like I said, cranberry juice. Criticism: if I had to level a criticism of this whiskey, I would say it's just a little bit lacking in complexity that you would get from a single malt at this price point. So for $130 in Canada, you're going to be able to find some 18-year-old single malts or 15-year-old single malts that might have a bit more complexity. But otherwise, this is a good buy. Thank you for tuning in. Potch Goo 21-year-old. If you get it on sale or you want to try something different, I think you'll enjoy it. Cheers. Take care.